Are you feeling that post-race high, those pre-race jitters? Well, this is the perfect blend of both. The break between races of a doubleheader Saturday night. That's where we are right now, streaming cyberspace into your place. From New Smyrna Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Network's final round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League Late Model Invitational Series Season 29. It's been said that the effervescence of championship champagne bubbles with slightly less ferocity when the cork is popped after a winless season. The taste, while sweet, is not as sweet when sipped by winless lips. To earn a late model series championship without winning any of the 11 races on the schedule is not an unprecedented accomplishment. The butcher of Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder, was first to do it in season 26, and then Double Deuce Bruce Pearson repeated the act last season when he drove his number 22 to the season 28 crown. Aiden Young Gun Young is positioned to become yet another champion who never took the opportunity to scale the highest post-race podium. Though winless, Young Gun has a 14-point cushion in the standings on Mike Holloway, who lurks in second. And while Young is not a certainty to win the crown, only the convergence of unlikely events will prevent the inevitable. So, coming into tonight's show, the question for you, the viewer, for us, the commentators, as well for Young himself, is can Young increase the carbonation, sweeten the fermentation of his championship wine by winning the season finale? To find out, pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for the noodle-crowning excitement of some simulated short-track racing action that's about to stream your way. A warm Sunshine State hello and welcome on this Saturday night, March 15th, 2025. It's Ricky, Hard-the-Wall Harder, joining yours truly, Bill Stoops on after the BGN broadcast booth, bringing you our words-eye view replay. Ryan Seneker, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, Ricky, what do you know about this place? What do you know about these cars?
Well, Soup, this is my last time calling this series full-time on VGN, and before I move on, I just have to say, it's been an absolute blast sharing the booth with you, calling these races by your side. It's been awesome, and honestly, trying to follow up your wildly unpredictable, and some might even say unhinged intros every week has been no easy task, but you've kept me on my toes, and it's been a pleasure.
You'll be missed.
Yes, sir. Here at New Smyrna, we are set for 100 laps of intense late model stock car racing here on iRacing. This track is in Central Florida, and it's almost a half a mile in length, and it's known for its high banks, high speed, tight racing, and unforgiving surface. And we talk about it every week in these cars, but this track is no stranger to tire management. Drivers are going to have to balance their aggression and patience if they want to be there at the end. So we will see who can handle the pressure, make the right moves, and keep their machine under control as they chase victory in this 100-lap showdown.
There's an interesting storyline tonight. Todd Cousins is sitting top of the practice charts. He's a rookie with a reputation of, not being all that patient, but he seems very fast. It'll be fun to see him start a little farther back. He doesn't get the benefit of the regrid. He'll be starting somewhere near the back, maybe around our points leader.
Yeah, mix speed and aggression back there with a guy that just wants to get to the end. But make no mistake, Aiden Young, he wants to come out of here with another win. Actually, he hasn't won yet this season.
No, he doesn't. That's kind of it,
He's been very consistent. So he wants to get that win and go out a champion and a winner this season.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the points. With no drivers making season debuts last time out, the number of drivers who have raced at least once this season holds at 33. 11 drivers have raced in each of those previous 10 events. Aiden Young Gun Young is the only one of only 3 drivers to complete all 1,000 laps this season. But here's a quirky stat. Young Gun ranks 11th on laps led. He only has 9 of them all season long. In his last 5 races, James Lowe has won once and finished second 4 times. Take a look then at Scott Negus. And I said, I might have said Holloway sits second in the points. It is indeed Lowe. In the intro, I might have made a mistake on that. Scott Negus is third, and Ruben Altice in fifth. Those guys both have 3 wins each. Sandwiched between them, well, that is Todd Liston. He's still looking for his first win. 2 former champions hold down the next 2 spots, the Canadian Goose John Wilson and Ribeye Joe Snyder. An easy, low-hanging stat is always nobody has raced this venue more than Lowell Jewell. The boss man is 0 for 24 at New Smyrna. Sobo saw Chris Davis win both the SK Modified and the late model event. And rookie Ed Springer has 3-point cushion on Mike Holloway to finish his debut season inside the top 10. A lot of drivers not here tonight. A lot of drivers who aren't usually here tonight are here tonight, trying to build up a little momentum. So while we have a healthy 21 on the grid, it is a eclectic group of cars, and let's go ahead and run them down for you right now. It's the Nova Scotia driver, Scott Negus, who'll be starting on pole. Boy, that means wire to wire. The man who's looking for that first win ever, Lowell Jewell. Watch out for the number 2. The boss man starts in second.
Man, I don't like you talking about Lowell Jewell like he's Michael Waltrip over here, for whatever, every week. Trey Bloom going to be starting on the inside of row 2 with Brennan Myers, who's outside in 4th.
The Canadian Goose, John Wilson, will go in 5th, flanked by Adam Shane.
There's a guy trying to become a champion here. Aiden Young going to start in the 7th position with Todd Liston starting 8th.
We talked about the hot streak that James Lowe has been on. He'll be starting inside row 5. Mike Holloway to his outside.
Ruben LT is going to roll off in the 11th spot with Tom Hilbert. We'll have more on him in just a minute, starting 12th.
Butcher Baton Rouge going to be starting in the Baker's Dozen spot with Chris Haslick in 14th.
Kurt Smith going to roll off 15th with Steve Hilbert in 16th.
Todd Cousins and Joe Segala are next.
Jeffrey Harden going to roll off 19th with John Hine 20th, and hitting blackjack, Jeffrey Kemper.
Got a little bonus on the over-under tonight. It's the entire Hilbert family. They've set it at 10.5. Bet the under, Ricky, if you think one of the Hilberts will finish 10th or better. Bet the over if you think both of them will be outside the top 10.
Well, I hate to do this to the brothers because anything can happen in these races, but I'm going to take the over. I don't think we're going to see a ton of attrition tonight, and it's going to be a tough task to work their way up.
Glad that both of them are here. A lot of the newcomers. John Hines back with us. We haven't seen much of Joe Segala. He's back. Keep an eye on Todd Cousins. Talked about him. Should be a good one. All right, Ricky, they're coming through 3.
And that pace car is going to get out of the way, and a quick green flag. Scott Negus is on the loud pedal, and he's all by his lonesome at the start-finish line. Lowell Jewell battling on the high side of Trey Bloom down into turn number 1.
The boss man wants to spend any tire equity he can right now on the first lap and see if he can pull down in front of Bloom, and he gets that done. Now the caveman was stuck in 3rd with the boss man ahead of him. They can start running some easy laps. A little bit of going-ons behind him.
Yeah, Brendan Myers got a little out of shape down there in turns 3 and 4, got way up the racetrack, but was able to gather it back in. He's got the future champion and Aiden Young underneath of him, going down into turn number 3 side by side for this 5th position.
One of the things we talk about, Aiden Young being really good on the outside line. Well, now he's trying to make the inside line work. He gets the best of Myers, and now he's looking to the inside of the Canadian Goose, John Wilson. I think he wants that spot as well.
Yes, he does. He's wasted no time working his way through the field, and don't look now, but a couple rows behind him, James Lowe also working his way up, and that blue 99 machine, he's coming underneath of the 79 of Adam Shane right now, just trying to kind of pace Aiden Young and stay close to him, but Young gets the job done on the 75 and moves into the 4th position.
Don't need to go there on the screen, but just watch the tower. Todd Cousins now up 3 spots, the rookie into 14th. He could be somebody to watch out for if the yellow flags fall his way.
Yeah, and almost everybody single file except for the aforementioned James Lowe to the inside of Adam Shane. Those two still racing side by side down the back straightaway. Lowe keeps running into a roadblock. That number 11 of Brendan Myers pulls right down in front of him, and Lowe's not able to get a big enough run, but he clears Shane, and they'll be single file, and here comes the 70 of Ruben Altiz trying to follow Lowe through.
Yeah, Shane drifted really high and actually out of 2. He gets part of the wall, and now Altiz gets the best of him. Liston is going to try to get underneath them. They are pretty much lined up behind him. Maybe a little bit of break between Liston and Joe Snyder for Shane to duck down in, but now Snyder gets in there as well.
Yeah, now Shane was real smart right there. He drove it way up the track and tried to get in that gap before it was filled, and that's exactly what he did. Now everybody looking single file throughout this field. James Lowe really trying to peek under the 11 of Brennan Myers, but not able to get a good run on him, so nowhere he can go yet.
A lot of drivers having a good time out there. Let's take a look at one of them, number 8, Jeffrey Kemp.
Almost contact there with James Lowe and the 11 of Brendan Myers. They do make contact out of turn number 4. Brendan coming down the track just a little bit. I think he feels like James Lowe may have come up into him, and that looked like a a little bit of separation between them, and you see the 11 get nerfed up the track just a little bit. And, oh, man, I think the connection is not good on Brendan Myers, and he's going to lose another spot here to the Ruben Altiz car. Myers all out of shape, and he's just going to try to find a space in line in front of Todd Liston. Todd is going to look to the inside as well. Oh, contact, and around goes Brendan Myers. They both straightened it out. I think this is going to stay green.
That was well done. He turned him, and then because Liston is a gentleman, took the 87 and straightened him out. I think probably cost him a little right front damage in the process. But we stayed green.
I think Liston has a lot of right front damage. That car is not looking good, and it may be the end of his night before it ever really got started. Oh, you see it right there. The 11 comes down into Liston while he was trying to save it there. And that's going to do a lot of damage to that.
That replay showed a lot there. Even at 1/4 of the speed, the number 87 having a hard time going straight. Okay, I got to continue with this story. Put the camera on number 5. He's the rookie, Todd Cousins. He's fast. I don't know how fast he's going to be on lap 99, but right now he's very quick, up 6 spots. We mentioned him. He was quick in practice, and he's next on his list, Mike Holloway.
Yeah, he's definitely been working his way forward. He's almost into the top 10 now, but the field is really, really strung out in front of him. Once he gets around Mike Holloway, if you look up the track, he's got more than a half a straightaway to make his way to anybody else. And the next guy on the list would be Joseph Snyder, and he's got about a half a straightaway to the cars in front of him. So long road to hoe if we stay green, and right now the race has a green look to it.
Let's go ahead and take a second if the drivers will cooperate, and let's do a little Hilbert watch. Tom racing in 18th position, 2 spots ahead of the Chief, his brother, Steve. They got a long way to go to get to that top 10.
Yes, they do. And the leaders are coming quick. Scott Negus has been setting a blistering pace out front. He's got a pretty big lead, almost a full straightaway over the 2 of Lowell Jules. You see the 87 of Todd Liston get down out of the way. I believe he's going to call it a night with that right front damage, and he will be our first retiree, I do believe. But, yeah, Lowell's been kind of closing the gap just a little bit here over the last couple of laps, and Trey Bloom's been closing the gap in a big way on the boss man.
Ricky, we talked about this season. It really had a weird dynamic to it where Ruben Altiz could not be beat early on. He was the man, and then all of a sudden he fell off a cliff, and Altiz racing now in 6th position. Not really in the championship conversation anymore. Then Niga started winning a lot. Meanwhile, Aiden Young just kept doing what he does, just keep finishing up front.
Yeah, you see Brendan Myers trying to work his way back up through the field to the inside of the lipper right here through turns 3 and 4, and he's going to get that pass done. I don't think he has any substantial damage to his car. He's got some cosmetic damage, but it's not affecting the way that thing drives. Jeffrey Harden going to try to follow him through here as James Lowe looks to the inside of the 69 of Aiden Young. This is a battle inside the top 5 for the 4th position, as a matter of fact, and here comes the 70 of Ruben Altiz trying to follow him through.
Lowe and Young sit 1 and 2 in the points. Lowe moves out in front. If Lowe were to win, he'd need Young to find disaster. I think we put the number at 15th is really all Aiden Young needs to do right now.
Yeah, Aiden Young just has to stay out of trouble, and he will be just fine right here. As Trouble's trying to find him right there, the 79 of Adam Shane came up the track just a little bit. Young will oblige. He will move further up the track and let him through.
I was thinking Aiden might have been listening to you there as he had Shane underneath him. He's okay, I'm trying, Ricky. I'm going to let him get by. So now Young races back comfortably in 7th. Yes.
That's the only thing you have to do if you're Aiden Young. Just, if it's not going your way and it doesn't look like you're going to get that win that you've been trying to get all season long, just keep the car clean. That's all you got to do. Look back from Scott Negus. You can see here that Lowell Jewell and Trey Bloom both kind of coming a little closer to him. Now, Scott had about a 2-second gap at one point, and it's down to about a 1.5 seconds as you see Todd Liston back out on the track there, trying to make laps. Not going to make it work there. He's pulling back into pit lane. And, the gap is closed just a little bit, but the lap times are awfully even between the 2 leaders.
Those new to the BRL might be wondering what Todd Liston is really doing there.
A little bit of trouble further back. There was a big cluster of cars here with Jeffrey.
Oh, we have one. We have one now. Nope, they get it straight in the eye. It was Kemper And John Hyde, again, another driver got turned and then was politely straightened out.
Exactly. Everybody was able to continue on their way. Kemper way up out of the groove here. You see him, he got into the back of Hine, and I think he may have a little bit of damage to that suspension, kind of the same way Liston did from making that move. It's always nice when the guy that kind of triggers the incident is the guy that gets worse for the wear.
We called that. That's the Todd Liston maneuver there. Worked good for Todd, and so John thought he'd try it as well.
Here goes Lowe to the inside of the caveman. Trey Bloom, they're side by side down the front straightaway. And James knows what he has to do tonight. He's got to go out here and win. And that's all he can do. Yep. It's the only thing he can control, and that's what he's going to try to do.
We talked about his last 5 races, 4 seconds and a first. He's been doing basically all he can do right now. Ruben Altice with 3 wins is going to follow him through. Lots of wins upside up in the top 4 right now. Negas has 3. James Lowe has a win, and Ruben Altice has 3 wins. Lowell Jewell would like to get a win.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about how many he has. The gap is sort of stabilized between Scott Negus and Lowell Jewell. Lowell has chopped it down to a little under a second and a half now, so gotten a little closer, but he's just not making really any inroads toward Negus. Now, the fastest car is probably James Lowe right behind him, and Lowe's going to do everything he can to get a run and get around Lowell Jewell as fast as he can.
Negus slowing down a little bit, Ricky.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is that Lowell's lap times have kind of slowed down with him. He's been closing the gap, but he's just not getting as big of chunks as he needs to get, and the guys behind him are coming. They are at least a tenth of a second a lap faster than him over the last several laps. So I think now it's Lowe who has to find a way to get side by side with Lowell if he wants to catch up and close the gap to the leader. Third of the way through the race.
Want to turn our attention to car number 6, Kurt Smith. Congratulations, Kurt Smith. You have become the 4th driver to turn 15,000 laps in a BRL late model. Well done.
That's a lot of laps.
And he's still in the same place he was when he started.
Yeah, Brennan Myers sort of peeked to the inside, and then Brennan got a little out of shape coming off of turn number 2 and fell back a little bit. Here's Lowe. You can see he's working his way closer and closer to our leader, Negus. He got his way around Lowell Jewell and brought Ruben Altice with him. Ruben has been pacing James Lowe over the last 10 or 15 laps. He's been running the same lap times, and he's just been following him through all the holes he's opened. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means he's been able to save his tires better if he doesn't have to work as hard to open the doors. So does that mean he's going to have more pace at the end? I don't know. We'll see.
And it's a dynamic to the series. Again, Aiden Young, who's notorious for saving his stuff, is just back there right now. Let's look in on Young real quick. He's got John Wilson behind him. That's a driver he can trust.
Yeah, I think he's comfortable where he's at. He may have seen that he wasn't going to go up there and take control of this race right away. As Lowell Jewell gets passed on the outside up in front of them, Adam Shane kind of took it to the top of the track and made it around Lowell and sent Lowell back to the 5th position. But yeah, he is probably just minding his business and saving his stuff, talking about Aiden Young right now, because there's nothing for him to race for except, if we get a late caution, get punched up, he might be able to get up there and get a win.
Well, in all honesty, he's not home free yet. There are 20 drivers on the lead lap. If misfortune were to find him, then he has to do a little bit of worry. I mean, he'd be back there, out of the points lead.
You're absolutely right. It is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but if he can do what he's doing, he's in good shape.
Yeah, Lowe's doing what he needs to do. Lowe's racing in 2nd. If he gets one more spot, makes it all the harder on Young. Young went into the season saying, this is the championship I want. He really wants this one.
Yeah, and it's looking very, very good for him. James Lowe really was closing the gap on Scott Negus lap after lap for a while, but Negus just stepped on the loud pedal this last lap. He picked up 2/10 out of nowhere, and he immediately lost it on the following lap. So I don't know what Negus did last time by, but he was just the fastest car on the track all of a sudden after giving up a lot of the gap that he had built. The gap is now down to 1 second. James Lowe is coming, and he's bringing Ruben Altiz with him.
Well, maybe Negus, maybe his tire strategy is to work him really hard on one lap and then save him for 5, and then work him hard on one and save him for 5, rather than keep a steady pace all the way through. Yes, Lowe is coming.
Well, I'll tell you what, my spidey senses are tingling back here close to our point leader, and that's because Trey Bloom and Lowell Jewell are racing really hard with each other, and they're kind of caught right behind the 79 of Adam Shane, and Adam passed these guys and then wasn't able to get away, and that's kind of stacking everybody up right into the lap of Aiden Young.
A couple things are happening. You have the 2 drivers ahead. You have Lowell Jewell and Bloom, who maybe aren't the fastest. And then we got the guy I've been watching all race, Todd Cousin. He's coming. He's up 7 spots. And it won't be long until him and Joe Snyder get in the mix as well. Then all of a sudden, Young finds himself in a hornet's nest.
Yeah, remember what I said earlier. He had over half a straightaway to make up on the 39 of Joseph Snyder. And then Joseph Snyder had another half a straightaway to make up on the pack in front of him. Both of them have closed those gaps to less than 10 car lengths. So there is not a big gap as Lowell Jewell and Trey Bloom go side by side. And now Aiden Young's going to get into that battle on the bottom side of Lowell Jewell.
This might be a case where Young's best interest may be served by not going slow here. Maybe just race hard, get yourself out of this mess. And he puts Lowell Jewell behind him. And now, to be honest, if he can get underneath Trey Bloom, then he has open track in front of him.
Absolutely. Sometimes playing it safe is getting in front of the traffic.
Just about the halfway mark. Been very clean so far. Had a couple almost cautions, but both drivers were straightened out, but the guys that turned them, and we keep racing.
Yeah, this big pack has kind of settled out just a little bit. Everybody with a little bit of a gap between each other in this pack, from the 4th position where Adam Shane sits all the way back to Todd Cousins in the 10th position. And we're looking on board with Todd Cousins right now. Like I said, he has closed the gap down considerably, along with the 39 of Joseph Snyder right in front of them. They both had a long way to make up, and they've done that.
There's been a little bit of teaching going on by the race stewards with Cousins, explaining the race etiquette. He's getting that understood. He certainly has the speed. He's a driver to watch come next season if he puts a full-time effort in, and we'll be looking forward to see what he has to offer.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with if he can keep it clean and keep that bumper off of the back bumper of other cars in front of him. That's one of the big things you have to learn when you get into league racing, especially when you come to a place like the Bootleg Racing League. You've got to drive your competitors with respect. It's not like going into an open race out there that you don't know any of the other drivers in, and you can just run as hard as you want, move them out of the way because you're not going to see them again. You see these guys week in and week out, and we have driving standards when you come into a league scenario like the Bootleg Racing League.
And to be fair, he's not the first driver that has had to learn that. I mean, there's countless drivers out here that had to catch on to that, and he'll get there and be a force to reckon with. 19 cars still on the lead lap. Sadly, one of the Hilberts have fallen a lap down.
Yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Kemper also just fallen off the lead lap there in the 8 machine. So that's going to put us down to 18 as Scott Negus has worked his way around that car and put a car in between he and James Lowe. You know, I really think Scott Negus may have been managing his tires out front because he has been able to pick up his pace yet again to match James Lowe. What he's done is every time the gap has gotten down to about 1 second, I've seen more pace out of that 29 car, and he has been able to at least maintain that gap.
So you look at Negus, if you look just ahead on the track, about a half a straightaway ahead, well, it's Steve Hilbert racing in 19th position, and there's Todd Liston Todd finally said, you know what, I guess it's better if I come and get repairs and go out and race at a normal pace. He's 21 laps down, but still circling. His goal is to pick up 8 spots and get to that 13th position. He can start on the pole for the season opener.
Yeah, he would be looking for a whole lot of attrition to happen for that to happen at 21 laps down. But, it sure is a lot more fun to drive a car that has the right front suspension configured properly after getting the repairs, even though you have to be 21 laps down to get that done.
Tip of the hat to Todd out there. In fact, all 21 drivers are still out there racing.
And Cousins has been really pressuring Joseph Snyder as he looks to the inside down into turn number 3, trying to get there. And Joseph Snyder says, no, sir, I will dive it down into turn 3 and pull away from you. He will do away with that pressure. But these guys, like I said, they closed in on this pack, but they haven't been able to do anything with them since then.
Remember, Cousins was the fastest in qualifying.
Practice. We don't have any qualifying.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and Adam Shane and Trey Bloom were able to kind of work their way away from this pack. We were all packed up for a little while. Those two in the 4th and 5th positions have moved their way away from Aiden Young and John Wilson. Aiden Young and John Wilson riding 6th and 7th are kind of packed up together, just riding along. And then there's a small gap back to Lowell Jewell, and that's where we see kind of the cork in the bottle with Joseph Snyder and Todd Cousins.
It's a real good point you made, though. With Shane and Bloom racing away, Aiden Young was able to get around Wilson, and then we talked about him maybe getting to the front of that nonsense. Well, now he basically kind of is, as things have settled out in that chaos that was going on behind. Let's look back. This is Lowell Jewell under attack from Joe Snyder. Snyder gets under him. Now Cousins is going to try to follow him through, maybe.
Yeah, he's going to think twice about the runs he takes after the season he's had here in the Bootleg Racing League. But he's going to give Lowell Jewell a little bit of a break, lets him back down the line. He's going to see if he can get a run off of turn number 2. He's going to peek to the inside, but not enough of a run, so he'll fall back in line. And don't look now, but Mike Holloway and Kurt Smith have closed the gap on these guys and are very close to being able to pressure them.
And just not to just keep pouring the advice to Todd Cousins' direction, but I will add this one last piece for you there, Todd. If you are going to turn somebody, try not to have it be the series organizer.
That one's a bad choice. Although we're fair to everyone here.
Yes,
we review all incidents equally, and it doesn't matter who it is. You got to race them with respect.
And to go a little farther on that one, Lowell Jewell has had a few ELO penalties as well.
He is not exempt. That is right.
ELO, I think that's Electric Light Orchestra. I think what I meant to say was EOL. Oh my goodness. I'll be back next season. I don't know how many more after that, but as long as I can hold off the senility for 11 more races. Okay, there's Snyder makes a move on the lapped car of Hilbert. The action is back here. Let's look at Cousins working on the back of Lowell Jewell right now.
And they're working their way around some lap traffic. That's Tom Hilbert in the 25 machine. We're getting way out of the way. But Cousins, he's feeling the pressure now. He's got to go. Mike Holloway is all over the back end of that car. And he wants to get around these guys too. So, oh man, Cousins kind of overshot turn 3, moves way up the banking. That's going to give Mike Holloway a look, but he's not able to do anything with him.
Okay, Brandy, I'm going to talk about your man here a minute. And Ricky, it's a brother from another mother here. So we talk about Jeffrey Harden. He's coming back. He's going to start to race full time again. It's funny how he took some time off, and then when he comes back, he's really hasn't been a factor. I mean, this is a guy with a championship back here struggling right now, and well, really in 14th position. And maybe he's right where he wants to be. One more spot puts him on the pole for the season opener.
Yeah, I think that's called being out of practice when you haven't run in a little while. It can be very difficult to kind of get your legs underneath you again. Todd Cousins getting a big run in front of these guys and looking to the inside of Lil Joe, but he falls back into line and not able to do anything with him. These guys are stacked up, and Holloway is peeking to the inside through 3 and 4 now. And this is, if anything's going to happen, this is the spot on the track that it's going to happen as we ride on board with Holloway.
Love that shot. I call that the right foot camera. It's hard for me to watch that without my right foot automatically extending forward like it's on the gas pedal. Go faster.
Yeah, you see Todd Cousins kind of entering the corner high. Gets him a really good run off the corner, and he has one on the back straightaway here toward Lowell Jewell, but just not quite enough to peek out to the inside. That is the difference between Cousins and the 39 of Joseph Steiner. Joseph got that run, and he peeked to the inside. Lowell gave him the lane. Lowell just moved up the track and let him have it. Cousins, on the other hand, not willing to take that run until he can get a big enough one to actually get the nose alongside.
Well, coming into this race, the entire broadcast crew said they would tell their better halves that we'd be done by the top of the hour, and we may be getting there right now. We got 14 minutes to go before we get to the top of the hour. We got 25 laps left, and we have been green the whole way. They are cranking them off. This has been a good one. Good way to end the season. A nice green flag run.
Well, don't commentators curse them now, because these guys are really getting stacked up behind the 52 of Hilbert off of turn number 2. It was the 39 of Joseph Snyder with Lowell Jewell behind them, and man, they are all stacking back to back to back going into turn number 3. And what I just saw is that the 88 of Holloway got to the back of Cousins right as they came off the corner, and they all stacked up behind him. So here goes Cousins with a big run. He's going to take it to the inside. Lowell's going to give him a lane, almost a lane. He's going to close that door off of turn 4.
It was really fun to watch Cousins' racing line out of 2. Took a really wide exit out of 2 and then dove it down and got a good run down the back stretch. It's fun to see him work on Lowell Jewell.
Yeah, he's doing that almost every lap, and it's effective, but he's just not able to be quite close enough when it comes to the end of the straightaway. He's going to peek to the inside again right here, but no run, going to fall back into line. And here he goes, that high entry into turn 1, turns it down off the corner and gets a big run at the back of the 2 car, but just not close enough.
Very competitive racing going on for what would be 9th position that Lowell Jewell races. All this going on behind Scott Negus, who he's minding the gap, is what they say when I was in London trying to ride the subway. He's just minding the gap.
You are absolutely right. He's got John Wilson's been kind of all over the back end of Aiden Young for the last 20 laps, but not making any moves. I don't think he's interested in trying to fight him too hard. Just kind of following him around the track. These guys are fighting for the 5th position, but like I said, not much of a fight right now. John may wait till the later laps to try to do something with him.
The good news for Aiden Young is that he's got a guy follow him, not only that is just normally a safe driver, but also a driver with series awareness. He knows what's going on with Young.
Here goes Kurt Smith to the inside of Holloway. Holloway had a checkup for Todd Cousins in the center of 3 and 4. He drifted up the track when he did that, and that allowed Kurt Smith to get to the inside. Those two racing side by side down the back straightaway right now, and this is for the 12th position, or 11th position. I'm sorry, these two making contact off of turn 4.
Myers back there ready to capitalize as well. Boy, you can really see this as a momentum track. If it doesn't go well for you and you lose momentum, the guys behind you are quick to jump in there.
No doubt about that. You can really get freight trained in a hurry if you get out of line. And these guys just trying to point the car right so they can get a good enough run off the corners to be effective. And here goes Todd Cousins trying just that to the inside of Lowell Jewell. Not able to make it happen. Falls back in line. This seems to happen to him every time. The run dies out before he can really get a good enough run with about 15 laps to go right here.
I seem to be very willing to pass out advice to people right now, but if I'm Lowell Jewell, to have a rookie that has a reputation of being in a hurry, You are really risking it back there. Tati Cousins has been very patient for a very long time.
Yeah, he just hasn't got a good enough run, and I think Lowell's going to make him work for it. You don't. There's no free lunch program here. You gotta get your run and make a move.
Let's hope that works out for the best.
Man, Lowell wagging the dog off of turn number 4 right there. It looked like he was going to go around, and they're coming up on the slow machine of Todd Liston, who's now, I think, 22 laps down up here. And he's going to get way out of the way on the top side of the track. And, Cousins missed the entry, and that's going to allow Holloway to get to his inside battle here for that 11th position.
Indeed. Cousins driving with one eye forward, one eye behind. Smith and Holloway are quick. They've left Myers behind. Boy, and we don't need to go there. Just watch the tower, the gap now. Minding the gap is Negas. He saw it drifted down to 9/10 of a second, so Negas said, all right, let me pick it up a bit. Back up to 1.1.
Yep, exactly. Every time that gap gets closed in a little bit, he steps on it just a little bit more and scoots away. So I think he's just been managing the gap, playing with them, as they say, out here. And no pressure, it feels like, for him as James Lowe closes the gap, just by another 1/10 of a second here. Not able to get much closer than that all night long. Oh, man, Cousins almost into the back of Lowell Jewell right there.
Boss man, you have about 10 laps to hang on for that 9th place spot. We'll see.
Well, the problem is, if you pull out of the way now, you're going to lose more than just that.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a few spots, and you don't want to do that. He wants his top 10 finish. There's a battle right here. Adam Shane working around the lap traffic. That's Joe Segala. We haven't seen him a lot. And this is Aiden Young that's caught up to Adam Shane. Aiden and John Wilson were kind of back there by themselves for a while, and they've closed the gap here to the 5th place car.
Aiden in 7th.
Yeah, he's riding in the 6th spot.
That 6th spot, yeah.
Yeah, 6th spot, trying to get into the top 5 before this thing over. Oh, man, Cousins and Lowell Jewell still racing tight over here through turns 3 and 4. Cousins tried to have a look to the outside right there in 3 and 4, and it looks like he's doing it again, but he's just trying to get that run. Oh, he had to back check up a little bit off of turn number 2, so he's not able to take the run anywhere, and everybody just stays single file. But this has just been brewing for so long. 5 laps to go at the line right here, and these guys have been managing to hold it together all day. But these 3 cars you could throw under a blanket.
And you know what I think, Ricky, and tell me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I think it's a lap's quick away. I think the speed difference between Lowe and Cousins gets more dramatic. I think Cousins gets faster each lap around, and Lowe's just trying to hang on.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with his runs, I think. I think a lot of that is he's trying to be careful. He's trying to make sure he doesn't wreck anybody. But if you drive like that...
Good run this time.
Yeah, if you drive like that, sometimes you're going to work yourself into a worse position, and that's what it feels like he's done.
As the laps tick away, do you think it's a case, and again, help me if I'm off base on this, of rev limiter there, where maybe the car's just running out of juice at the end of the straight?
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think that's what's happening there. And that's typical of these late model stock cars. That's the way you want to set them up so that you don't run them too hard. 2 laps to go at the line. The gap up front is down to about 0.8 of a second, but I don't think it's going to matter as Scott Negas comes back to the white flag. He has dominated this race.
He had 3 wins coming into this race. He's going to close out this season with a win. It's not going to be a championship, but it will be a statement for what's coming up next time. Scott Negas gets the win. James Lowe will take 2nd. Ruben Altice will get 3rd. Let's turn our attention back to Aiden Young out of corner number 4. He's going to come across in 6th position. And does Lowell Jewell hold off Cousins? He does.
Sure does. New champion, Aiden Young. He wasn't able to get the win tonight and get a win on the season, but Scott Negas, just absolute dominance out there.
Okay, we'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. We're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to New Smyrna's Speedway and VGN's final round coverage of the late model Invitational Series here at, the Bootleg Racing League. Let's go ahead and give you the finishing order right now. Scott Negus, well, goes all 100 laps to pick up his 4th win of the season, and one of the only 3 drivers to go all 1,100 laps that we raced this season. James Lowe continues to close out the season on a hot streak with 5 second-place finishes and a win in his last 6 races. It's not going to be enough to secure that championship, but he kept Aiden Young honest. Ruben Altice, the quiet man, he'll come home in 3rd. Trey Bloom and Adam Shane will go for 4th and 5th. Then we get to our champion, Aiden Young Gun. Yeah, didn't get the win he was hoping for, but nevertheless, still he gets to sip the championship champagne. John Wilson and Joe Snyder, a pair of former champs, follow him. Lowell Jewell and Todd Cousins makes the top 10.
Yep, finishing in 11th place tonight, Mike Holloway. These guys just had a hard time passing. They all caught up to that big train of cars and couldn't go anywhere. Kurt Smith right behind them in that train in 12th. Brennan Myers, after the early contact, was able to recover for a 13th place finish. That's not too bad after kind of getting spun out and being way behind the field. There's my brother from another mother, Jeffrey Harden. He finishes 14th. Chris Hazlett, the last car on the lead lap, in 15th. John Hine finishes 1 lap down, 16th position, with Jeffrey Kemper in 17th. Joe Segala, 18th.
Come on,
Hilbert.
Hilbert!
There's our over-under drivers, Steve and Tom Hilbert. They finished 19th and 20th consecutively. And Todd Liston rounding out the field, soldiering on and finishing this race 22 laps down.
That's right. Keeping the... Well, the Hilberts are happy with Todd Liston, kept them from being at the bottom there. We love you, Steve and Tom. We'll hope to see you back next season. That was fun. With that said, let's go ahead and bring in our race winner. Started on the pole, did all 100 laps up there. Basically a case of, we thought it was a case of minding the gap. Scott, is that what it was for you? Just keeping an eye on where Lowe was on you?
I was, yep. That's exactly what I was doing.
It was funny because we were watching your lap times and we go, hey, they're starting to slow down. And then all of a sudden you give us a really quick one.
Yeah, I was watching. I was trying to keep about with a 1 second gap. I was very thankful there was no cautions. Just goes to show the league itself and the drivers, 100 laps, no cautions at New Smyrna is quite something, really.
All right, give us you can think about this for a second if you need to. A 4-win season has got to be rewarding, but no championship. If you, how does that make you feel?
Well, that was my one shot. Honestly, the races that I didn't do well, I didn't do well at all. But
why? Was it just misfortune, or was it? Can you look back and think about things that I should have done that differently?
There was a couple races that they were all my fault. I was way too aggressive, way too not patient at all. And then I went back and looked. It was funny. BRL posted some interesting stats the other day, and then I went on reviewing them, and I couldn't believe how many incident points I actually had. So I had to regroup and think about things. That's all.
Well, we hope it changes for you next time. The only reason I bring this up, I've been commentating a lot in the series, so it is really unusual for me to have a 4-race winner and not go ahead and cap that sentence off with saying series champion as well. So good luck to you down the road.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Scott Negus has the speed and maybe got the experience now to go ahead and get a championship coming up. Ricky, who you got?
Well, if he does that, he's going to have to go through this guy next season. Finishing second tonight was James Lowe. James, welcome back to the Bootleg Racing League. What a great season you put together. Came up 1 spot short tonight and 1 spot short in the championship.
Yeah, if it wasn't for those first 2 weeks, I think we would have been a good shot for it. But yeah, it's just how it worked out. But really proud of the last 9 races we put together. 9 top 10s, 7 top 5s, led the league in top 5s. So yeah, we'll take that away and move on next year.
Yeah, it was a great season for you. And tonight, when you were catching Scott Negus, did you think you had him right where you wanted him, or did you think that he was kind of playing with you with his tires?
I probably could have got to him if I would have stopped being stupid and hitting that kink in the front stretch. Every time I'd start getting close, I'd hit that thing and lose 4 tenths and have to try to rally it all back. So Yeah, just kind of dozing off every once in a while. Wasn't much going on out there, so it was easy to get distracted, I guess.
You're telling me that's what it felt like up here too. But you had a great run and really charged through the field. It wasn't a great starting spot for you, but what are your prospects for next season? You go out there to win a championship?
Yeah, just hopefully we'll get off to a lot better start than we did this season. And we'll be right in it at the end. So, yeah, I just have to try to keep it clean and keep moving forward and get to the front of these races.
Well, congratulations. Great season for James Lowe. Second place tonight. What you got,
And
Sue?
with that, we'll dial in the number 70 here of Ruben Altice, the quiet man. Ruben, I'm glad I get to talk to you here at the end of the season. I've never seen a case where a man's momentum has been taken away. You were on a roll, then your town got hit by bad weather and internet problems, made you miss a race, and you lost all of your mojo.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened there. I was on a roll, and all of a sudden, when we had no power, no internet, it's just like I come back, and it was just one wreck after another wreck, and all bad luck.
Well, this is a nice way to finish it off with a podium here at the end. I'm assuming we will see you next season, make a run at that championship that could be your way.
Maybe. I'm gonna be back. I just don't know if I can make every race or not. Hopefully, I'm gonna try, but no promises.
Well, it's always a pleasure to watch a race when you can't show up. Congratulations on the third place tonight and a good season. 3 wins, baby. Way to go.
Hey, I appreciate it and thankful for having this league, and congratulations to Aiden and on his championship and Scott on his win.
You got it. Congratulations. Third place tonight. The quiet man, Ruben Altice. Ricky, I'm not sure. Do you have the champion?
Yes, sir. Aiden Young didn't get in victory lane this season here in the late model stocks, but what a season. 3 second place finishes. You finished in the top 5 6 times, top 10 out of 11 races. How are you feeling right now?
I'm just super happy. Finally got the monkey off my back, and no fire calls all season long, which is very surprising.
That is impressive for sure, and thank God everyone's staying safe out there. Let's do it for another season. How you feeling going into next season?
I unfortunately will not be running full time because once May starts, I will be in the real car.
Well, that is unfortunate that we won't get to see you every single week, but it was fun watching you work your way through these fields week in and week out and being Mr. Consistency for sure. And great championship.
Thank you.
Aiden Young, he is your season 29 champion in the late model series in Bootleg Racing League.
Happy to get that championship, and he thanks all the residents on the New Hampshire-Vermont border for keeping their houses safe from fire so that he could race every Saturday night and get that crown. With that said, I wanted to get out of here at the top of the hour. We're a little bit late, so we're going to hustle through this one so that our spouses are happy. When are we going to be back? Well, it's going to be Martinsville next week, round 1, as we open the season one more time. We got that one, and of course, the SK Modifieds right before that. Before that one, tomorrow night, the Old Boy Racing League. That's the Cup Series. They're going to the town built on sand and broken dreams, Las Vegas, where that'll be round 5. That'll be fun. You don't want to miss that. All those broadcasts, future past ones, all the production of the Virtual Group Network. With that said, until next time, have fun storming the castle.